It was just a few weeks ago where one driver, Mark Samagi, continued what has been a dominant performance throughout 2020, whether it's been on the pavement or on the dirt. For the driver, he won by more than 20 plus seconds at Orem Park to come away with the second checker flag of 2020. But today, it's back to dirt racing once more to see who can try and come away with the checker flag in what is expected to be an interesting race here in Sonoma. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the virtual Sonoma Raceway for the fourth round of Global SimSport Jetta Master Series here on GSRC, the Global SimRacing Channel. I'm Justin Prince. Along some of the moves tonight is Joe Peak. Behind the scenes, our director, Sean Ambrose, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. A very foggy one tonight here in Napa Valley, but what's the best way around this rallycross track for today? Let's take a look at your GSRC lap guide to find out.
Welcome to Sonoma Raceway. With series as diverse as NASCAR, IMSA, and IndyCar visiting this California road course, it seems fitting that iRacing would include a rallycross layout of the track. Located north of San Francisco, it clocks in at a little bit under 1 mile and exactly 1.5 kilometers. The 6 turns along that length are wildly different and provide an interesting challenge for drivers. Taking the carousel in reverse and with dirt laid on it, things kick off in a way completely new to anyone who's driven the regular circuit. From there on out, transitions are a key word at this course. Whether it's transitioning from dirt to pavement, or going from the wide open spaces of the first half to the street course-like middle part of the circuit, drivers must be adaptable and ready for anything. In fact, the blind apexes scattered throughout certainly means you could be unpleasantly surprised by an unseen wreck unfolding in front of you. The Joker lap cuts out the jump that finishes up the lap and provides an excellent opportunity to get some clear track. But keep in mind that it sends you into the first turn with a lot more speed than usual. Passing won't be impossible, but tricky, especially in the tighter areas. It may make up a small portion of Sonoma's footprint, but the rallycross course delivers a great deal of fun, both to drivers and fans.
That was looking at your GSRC lap guide for Sonoma Raceway's Rallycross Circuit here with the iRacing service. Now, Joe, when it comes to these Jettas, what should fans and drivers expect when we take the green flags today?
Well, expect the drivers to have to hustle the cars aggressively. That's what I found around here, is that to really get the car going fast, you have to kind of go against what you're used to thinking in most other cars, which is to be smooth and try and be gentle with the machines while still, carrying as much speed as possible. You carry as much speed as possible. With these things, you just chuck them into the corners, especially with the dirt sections. So that's mostly what it's going to be about, just trying to break the rear loose and then mash the power down, because there's some places with some heavy inclines. So this car doesn't have a lot of power. It really requires you to carry the speed and just keep the foot to the floor as much as absolute possible.
Remember back during the summertime when there was the special charity rallycross events with this Jetta. This was one of the more exciting races on the calendar because of some of the major bumps that could happen from that big jump heading towards the start and finish line for today. One of the drivers looking to carry momentum from the last race, and one of the drivers who was dominant in that race back in the summertime was Mark Samagi. He's your points leader entering today with 2 victories and an average start and average finishing position of first so far after the first 3 rounds with 68 points. Gabor Visky comes in today second, with right behind them things being very tight. Joshua Gaiman rounds out the top 3. He's your only other winner so far in the campaign, while Kyle Apsey and Tomas Kinyeri are tied with 24 points apiece in P4. It's Gustavo Cianfari rounding out the top 5 of the point standings. Also keep in mind Lucas Jocelyn just outside that picture, 4 points back of what you see on screen. Now, when it comes to the race today, could be interesting, could be somewhat quick, yes, but it also at the same time could be somewhat stressful here, Joe.
Yeah, they're doing heat racing on this one, so they're going to get multiple opportunities. And we are in round 4 out of 8 here today. This is going to be the most unique one we've had yet this season. Obviously, the racing and the TDI Jetta, which can't really change much, so it doesn't really matter if it's fixed or open in this car, because it's just practically a fixed setup car no matter what. They do have one fast repair for each round if they do find themselves getting too much damage. And you can see it's easy to rack that up as we look at Veldman's machine on screen right now. Even just going over the jump, the thing just clumps down because it's not really made for racing like this. But they made it work all last season, so we know it can handle it.
Yes, indeed. Can't wait to see what happens when the heat race gets underway. There's also the feature race. One joker required for each of the events today. Feldman with the slick look, with a slick jump. And it's also very foggy here. We were talking with the director, Sean Ambrose, about this, where the weather in sim, it's October 24th, 2020. Just approaching about 6:21, 6:22-ish in sim time. 2 times speed, by the way, for the day cycle. 73 degrees track temp, 71 the air temp. When it comes to Napa Valley, this can happen since, well, it's a valley in California.
And I mean, it's appropriate because, well, we're a week out from Halloween. So it stinks that they won't be able to actually have it on Hallows Eve, but still, they're the closest race that they're going to be holding to the holiday. I guess it's absolutely fitting. As we're watching Gabor Georgi out there in qualifying right now, they get 3 laps, which it looks like he's completed all of his. So I think he is just out there warming up at this point. He's put it in 5th.
Only one driver has not set a time. That's Ash Fletcher, you now see in the number 7 machine. 7 total entries. The big news, though, Mark Zamagi, who is a dirt specialist, runs a lot of rallycross events in his home country, will not be able to run in today's event. As Fletcher runs off the track and disallows his lap, that could open up the door for a 3rd different winner potentially, with our only other winner not also in the field today. In other words, could be a chance to see someone else rise to the top today.
So a weird thing about these rallycross tracks is there isn't technically off track for these, so you can't get incident points for that. So really the only way they can discount it is...
You can for that.
Yeah, you hit the wall, or I was going to say you cut the course, which there's a couple places where they have some very strict limitations on how far inside you can run on the corners. And then some of those are physical limitations too. One of the things to watch out for today, Justin, is the blue turtles, as they like to call them in NASCAR.
Yeah, those turtles can end up coming to bite you in some cases around these types of tracks. But now, it's a matter of seeing how drivers will line up in just a moment here on this track today. With 7 cars in the grid today, just 1 heat will set the lineup for the feature race. Now, the drivers taking part in said heat are the following. Tomas Caneri, the top driver in qualifying, is Ben Sturek, who qualified 2nd. Alexander Velman, Kyle Apsey, Gabor Georgi. Andrew Apsey and Ash Fletcher, your 7 entrants. You see on the left side pylon. Quick expectations for this one, Joe.
I think it's going to take getting to the front very, very early on these cars, because trying to make passes here is going to be tight, especially in some of the smaller corners.
Live time and scoring is available for this race today at GSRC.tv to keep up with your favorite teams and drivers. Once again, that's GSRC.tv. As the drivers making the way to the grid, just about to see how things fare out today. Oh, by the way, the driver who didn't set a qualifying time and smack the wall has owned this track for 10 minutes. Good luck. This is not the best track to learn in 10 minutes. Drivers are ready to roll on said track. Engines are ready to rev. The lights are on. The green flag is now all set to go. We're underway for the heat race as Tomas Caneri cannot get off the grid. Already contact as they go 3 wide for the race lead. Already spinning into the first corner. Big squeeze. Already they're wrecking off the corner. Everybody's crashing. Just about everybody's involved. Only Kyle Apsey and 1 other car have made it through cleanly in the first couple corners in Gabor Georgi. Everybody else has either crashed or flipped.
Yeah, you saw 1 on their lid. I think that was Jurak. But Georgi's going to lead it with Apsey following. And you'll see, really, these drivers want to get the car rotated up into here, which Apsey does not. It's so easy to drift wide off into that grass.
And already the drivers who were involved in the incident are already drifting off into the grass in the first couple of corners already. But Georgi, if you think back, has been fairly quick on the dirt. George Racing Team driver already up by about 6-7 car lengths as he overcooks the corner a little bit.
Yeah, and while you can't get away with that going off into the grass there, Obviously, the wall isn't too far away, so it'll be easy to hit them. Both of them are going to take. Whoop! As Georgi goes way wide. Oh, and he's going to hit the wall, and he's going to get hit by Apsy. Oh my goodness!
That was their Joker lap, and everybody is now demolished for the most part. Georgi, along with Apsy, are both demolished. Several other cars have significant damage. It's Kenyuri now in the lead. What in the world? This has been the craziest race for any of these drivers in months.
And we're just having the first laps of the heat race. We still got plenty to go. Kenyuri's got his lucky stars in order today. He's even missing the boot on the car as the trunk seems to be missing its latch. He's got, oh gosh, what is the gap now? Am I seeing correctly? It's like a minute and a half currently?
No, it's 2.6 seconds for now, though. Georgi is still chugging along with the broken motor. Ash Fletcher, rather, has a blown motor. Andrew Apsey is 11 seconds behind, but Kyle Apsey's fighting with them. Everybody's struggling right now to get around this racetrack. I don't know if some of these cars are even going to make it to the checker flag with some of these blown motors here. This might move the Apseys here up.
Exactly. Yeah, you can only go so long with those things chugging away. If they're smoking as badly as you can see on screen, it's already hard enough to see. They're probably not going to get to the end because you strain them hard enough, especially as hard as they're racing, they'll just pop here in iRacing.
Again, your race leader is now by 5 seconds to Kenyuri, and he was a contender when the last time any sanctioning series for Valhalla SimSport came to the Sonoma Raceway's Rallycross track. That whole organization, very strong, and also a lot of them work together in real life on the Rallycross scene in Hungary.
Up and over the jump there for Kenyuri. This is about the fastest part of the circuit right here, and then you're breaking into this long uphill sweeper. It's the carousel in reverse for those familiar with how this track normally runs. And it's actually pretty steep. Like I said, this car doesn't have a lot of power, so you can see how much he's trying to keep his foot in the throttle and then use everything else to steer the car, which is easier said than done because these cars do not want to steer on dirt. They're not really made for that.
Wonder if Mark Samagi is sitting at home and thinking, I may have been lucky here because, yes, 3 cars are now in range to either get disqualified or DQ out of this one, or have already gone out of the race, such as Ben's Jurek.
Justin, he could hop in this race and probably still win it as, yeah, Veldman's off here.
Oh my, and Veldman's now demolished. Joy, add another car to that list. Are we going to have anybody finish at this rate? Kyle Apsey's now off the track as well in the 87. Kenyuri's the only clean car on the track, I think.
And he's not totally clean. He's got a big chunk missing from the back of the car where he got rear-ended, and I think it looks like a little damage on the left side.
At this point, that counts as clean. There's still 2 more laps to go, by the way.
I think we're going to be down to 1 here soon. He should get the white flag next time after the jump. Remember, the start line is different from where the finish line here at this track.
It's to the point where Ben Sturek has actually came back on the racetrack. One of the rare times I've ever seen someone come out from a toe from that. He's still a lap down and could finish as high as 5th, potentially up in the top 3 still. Kenyuri, white flag this time, and one of the craziest heat races you may ever see. Final lap for Tomas Kenyuri by 24 seconds. Andrew Apsey is ripped away 2nd. Georgi still chugging along in 3rd, with Veldman and Jurek the top 5.
Yeah, it barely chugging. It's just incredible that the cars are still moving right now. You can see how slow it's going. He might actually pull off here.
I don't think he's going to be able to finish at this rate. What in the world is this race? Georgi will probably fall to the top 5 here. Kenyuri coming out of the final corners. As long as he doesn't crash this car, he's going to come across the stripe with the biggest win of the season, even bigger than what we've seen at Orem Park last round. Kenyuri off the final corner. He'll secure the top spot on the grid as he'll pass by his teammate to win the heat race today. Andrew Apsey is still trying to hold on and finish this race. He's got the spot by 25 seconds.
Yeah, he's not actually racing with the car that's with him right there. That is Jurek, who's a lap down from him.
Only 4 cars will finish this race. Georgi, I think, is still on track, still trying to finish. Vince Jurek will take away the spot this time, likely. If he can get there, Georgi's car is dead. He'll hold on because he was able to chunk along, so Jurek will finish in 4th as a result. Well then, are you not entertained? It's time to go feature racing.
Oh, I mean, it is like watching inside the Coliseum with how these guys are running. They're going to get, thankfully, a little bit of a warm up here, I think.
I don't think they'll get one. I think
Oh,
they're
yeah,
going
you're
straight
right.
to it.
Yeah, you're correct.
The Kenyuri, Apsey, Georgi, Jurek, Veltman, Fletcher, and Kyle Apsey were the finishing order in that heat. That's how they'll start for this one. 10 laps the distance, 1 joker. Okay.
I mean, if I'm one of the drivers, I'm hanging back at the start and letting everything unfold in front of me. And I'm serious.
I mean, not everybody can be at the back of the field. Eventually, the back of the field becomes the front of the field, in theory. Red lights are aflame. Everyone all set to try survive. Green lights are out. We're underway. This time, a much cleaner start. No one botching the first start of the pylon. Into the corner. Much more conservative as they go too wide.
Yeah, I think they learned their lesson. I was hoping that'd be the case. You have to understand when stuff like that happens, that's a sign that if you take it easy, you'll be able to get those positions back because it's certainly proving difficult around here.
Georgi and Kenyuri, 1-2 off the jump. Veldman, Jurek, Andrew Apsey, Ash Fletcher, Kyle Apsey as they all slide up the track. Everybody missing the grip. Everybody to the marbles just about as Kenyuri takes the race lead.
That's what I was talking about. You can't let it slip a little bit too wide. You gotta really keep it within the bounds, even though it's all dirt and grass. And he's gonna make a little bit of contact with Georgi.
A bit of touchiness as Georgi gets the better grip coming into the pavement section.
Don't forget Veldman back there, who's still kind of keeping watch on things. And Kenyuri's going to take the joker. This is actually probably a good call. It'll get him clear of a lot of other drivers. Oh!
Yep. A little bit of bumping and banging once again with the jump. Several cars taking that joker. This time, no one crashing into the scoring pylon. So there's that as Kenyuri has a result with the joker up by 3.6 seconds. How will Georgi respond, though, is the big thing. He's still holding off Veldman by 0.3 of a second. You can see how close things are, though, second on back.
Veldman got a big piece of the wall on the exit of the jump, just landed too far off to the side. You got to be careful of that. If you smack into the suspension, then that's going to make life pretty miserable for the remaining few laps.
Drivers duck down this time. Georgi, one of the drivers, have to use one. Andrew Apsey has been in trouble in the back of the field. He's lost several positions. No jokers used yet, except for this one. That's Veldman taking it this time. He's still, however, about a 1.5 seconds back for the next car in front.
Yeah, and I chalk that mostly up to the time he lost with the car smacking into the wall there. If he hadn't have, you remember, he was just a couple tenths behind Kenyuri before this lap. So he definitely lost out.
Some of the mistakes that you can make during the lap, right? And as we've seen, things are very foggy. Things can be happening, to say the very least, that you may not expect compared to the clear skies in the summertime. Everyone's smoking their tires back to the oval section once again, back to the pavement side rather, with 7 laps to go this time.
Georgi's on a very shallow entry into the joker, but this time he actually makes it safely. And you can see he isn't even past Veldman. Well, barely past Veldman, I should say.
Yeah, he lost 2 seconds.
Kenyuri is flying here.
Kenyuri looking for the full sweep on the day. Georgi, though, still having to hold off Alexander Veldman. One of the best runs we've seen Veldman have on the dirt in a long while. Got to keep his eyes open, though, as Georgi is taking a bit of wider lines here, just avoiding some of those turtles. Veldman is hugging those turtles just about in the dirt section.
That joker lap makes a much bigger difference at this place than you'd expect. It looks so simple and like it doesn't cut off a lot, but the big difference comes from the fact that it's pavement as opposed to here, what you're seeing. They're all trying to accelerate on dirt. So they are basically, that's why you gain so much time going through the joker. Now everybody's going to get it equally, But like I said, when you take it, really puts you out of having to battle with anybody else. And Kenyeri pulled a master stroke on that one.
Yeah, Kenyeri has the big cushion. The thing is, though, Georgi had the fastest lap of the race so far, 49 flat last time by. The gap is now down to 1.7 seconds. Did lose some time, however, hitting the hillside. So some of the mistakes getting amplified here, with these two being teammates, and now Georgi's wheel hopping off the track. He nearly smacked the wall behind your race leader. That loses him another second and a half.
It's so important when you get to a pavement section that you keep it on the pavement. For the reasons I just described with the Joker lap, there's so much more acceleration that you get, speed you can carry and whatnot, that it's valuable that you don't lose out. And whatever he had gained, he's already lost.
And then some. 1.2 seconds to be precise after gaining 9/10 the previous lap. And you can tell the preference just about again, where Georgi wants to almost hug that hillside, while Kenyeri tries to stay far to the left side of it to the very edge of the track. Then in turn, they have the similar line for the next portion, and then Georgi tries to charge it hard for the pavement section where Kenyeri's been taking it a little bit softer.
Absolutely, and that's what's gaining it back for him. He's down to 2 seconds. Let's see what he can get coming up to the carousel, the reverse carousel, because again, it's pavement on the entry. So if you can take it a little bit hotter into there, just to carry your speed, that will gain you a lot.
Now urban purple lap of 48.9 this time. That was only 2/10 quicker. Kenyeri losing a bit of time once again. Massive amounts of time. In fact, it's down to about 1.3 seconds-ish or so. Georgi now back within range, coming to 3 to go.
But here's the thing. He can catch him, but then how is he going to get by? He's really going to have to set himself up and plan it out carefully. Like I said, it's a bit tough to pass as once again, he goes wide, and he can't afford to keep doing that because he's bleeding time now. He's going to be 3 to go this time across the line, and he's only got so much time to get to the rear of the car, let alone overtake him.
Georgi nearly flipped it over going to the jump once again. That lost him another 4/10 coming down to the front straightaway. 3 laps to go, and Georgi needs to close up 1.8 seconds. Kenyeri not making as many mistakes as before. Georgi, he's had more mistakes in the final few laps of this one.
I tell you what, Kenyeri's made the best of this situation because I don't know if he really would have had the pace to try and challenge for the heat race if it weren't for the melee at the start. But once he had it, you see here, he's got himself in the right position. He's made the right strategic calls. Now he doesn't quite have the pace, as you can see. He's now being attacked by Georgi, but putting himself in the spot where he can even try for the win is the first step.
2 laps to go. I was just going to say, the one trouble spot that Kenyeri's been having in this race is where he's losing tons and tons of time to Georgi. Georgi, though, having to back it up, he sends it hard on the curbing, right underneath, full throttles it. He goes to the left side of the track. Kenyeri tries to keep it on the right side, side by side. Georgi makes contact, spins his teammate. Georgi now runs off and away, coming to the white flag.
Kenyeri's going to lose second because here comes Veldman, who's already passed. You see in the background there, just slipped through with ease. If I was Kenyeri, I would not be happy with him.
That's going to be a discussion with the team manager after this one. White flag this time by. That now has made the gap by 3.6 seconds. As Georgi just needs to drive with no mistakes here for one final lap.
Yeah, I don't think Kenyeri did anything wrong there. It's just Georgi re-entered a little bit loose, and I don't think he meant to tap him, but it caused the contact, and then from there, Thomas was just a passenger, unfortunately.
You have to say, though, the George Racing team, they've been very strong when it comes to racing in Valhalla Sim Sports sanctioned competition in these Jettas. They've won a majority of the races in the event's history for the organization, and now it's Georgi coming out of the final corners by more than 4 seconds, who will take the checker flag. He wins round number 4 of the Jetta Master Series. This time it comes at Sonoma. He's your winner for the feature. Feldman P2 with Kenyuri rounding out your top 3 with Fletcher, Apsey rounding out your drivers on the lead lap. That one other car you seen letting him go was Benz Jurak, who whizzed 1 lap down. This fight not quite over per se as they go back and forth between Fletcher and Apsey.
For position, Apsey could try to pull an over-under on him, maybe. Oh, way too much curb there for Fletcher. Has he got enough pace? It's going to be very close. He's gaining on him. Oh, is he going to get it? Here comes the finish right here. Fletcher, I think, got it.
No, it's looks like Kyle Apsey at the scoring pylon, yes.
Wow.
Like just about a few 100ths of a second, but man. Let's take a look at how this battle turned out here in the final corners. Talk us through this here as they were already bumping and banging off the curbing.
Just enough pace, and that's all he needed, just a nose ahead at the line, and that's what you got to do. You cannot give up until you get to that line because you just don't know what'll happen.
Take a quick step aside. Post-race coverage coming up in just a few moments. You're watching the Global SimRacing Channel live from the virtual Sonoma Raceway. Well, that was something today. Welcome back to the virtual Sonoma Raceway for tonight's coverage of the Valhalla Sim Sport Jetta Master Series, where if you like to see entertainment, well, you're entertained for sure by at least the heat race today. Gabor Georgi is the man, though, who wins the feature race, for Alexander Veldman by 4.4 seconds. He had late race contact, however, with his own teammate from George Racing Team in Tomas Kenyuri for the win after closing in by more than 2 seconds. Kyle Apsey, Ash Fletcher, and Sturek, Andrew Apsey round out your entrants today. And Joe, want to turn to you first because that was crazy today. That was the craziest one race we've seen on the dirt with some of these drivers all year.
It really is. And we saw some wild ones last season. So I kind of knew what we were supposed to expect here. I just did not think that we'd have the majority of the field go out in the first heat race and then have both leaders find themselves wrecked out as well. I think that's something to tuck away in your mind for the next rallycross race that they do in this series, because there's a lot of lessons to be learned. And that's what you're going to see is the drivers who are always quickest are the ones that take those mental notes, tuck them away, and are ready to be prepared for those unexpected or previously unexpected situations when they come up.
And one of those unexpected situations was, of course, your points leader not able to make today's race. Real quickly here, Joe. Second half of the season is going to be much tighter now with Mark Samagi electing not to start this round. Your thoughts for the second half of the season?
I think he can't dilly-dally. He's got to still be quick and he's got to hustle the car. But the pace that he's shown in almost every round has shown that he's going to be a hard force to beat, even missing a race.
Indeed. Can't wait to see what happens in the next few weeks or so, because things, well, they could get crazier from here after what happened today. I'd like to thank you for tuning into tonight's exciting action. We'd like to also thank Valhalla SimSport for organizing this series. We'd also like to thank the companies who provide the software and hardware for our broadcast listed up on screen, with additional thanks to Jude Lalonde, who runs our wonderful music. See the screen for how to get a hold of more for great work. Thanks to the team today and Joe and Sean. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC and the upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com. If you'd like to help support the channel, you can check out our merchandise for sale at gsrc.stormvy.com. Or you can check out our social media on Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at Global SimRacing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_Graham. Don't forget to head over to YouTube page and hit that big red subscribe button, as well as the notification bell, so you don't miss a moment here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Next race is scheduled for November 7th. Be sure to tune in once again. That's Saturday. It'll start at approximately 4 p.m. Eastern Time here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Be sure to tune in for what's expected to be a crazy start to the second half of the campaign to see who can come away and become the Jetta Master. We also have many upcoming races for other series listed on your screen, so be sure to check those out and mark them down your calendar. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.